7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Yo, what's Gucci, fam? This Que Bola, the podcast for creative entrepreneurs who want to understand the individuals winning in the creative industry and want to learn how to attain success in their own pursuits. My name is Darwin Figueroa, and my mission is to help you, the creative entrepreneur, find a roadmap to grow and succeed in your own endeavors. We share stories, insights, and tips from established and emerging creative entrepreneurs so you can attain success in your own pursuits. In this episode, we have the funny AF Brittany Brave coming out of Candid via NYC. She breaks it down about her trajectory in the comedy scene here in South Florida. It was a dope, insightful talk. You know how I be doing. You know how we be doing. You know what it is. Yo, without further ado, I just want to introduce you. If you haven't learned, if you don't know, you're gonna learn. One time for Brittany Brave. Thank you so much. Let's get into this, all right? Listo. Let me just silence my phone because it tends to go off in the middle of my shit.
Of course.
Happens on my radio show. Happens.
What radio show do you have?
I do Jolt Radio.
Oh, nice. I love
Yes.
Joe Radio.
Love Joe Radio. John Joe's my man.
Yep.
Shout out Joe Radio. I do that once monthly. And this show is syndicated on Joe Radio.
Is it?
Every Monday at 12 o'clock after Democracy Now!
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
I
So
love
you'll
that.
be live on Joe Radio next Monday.
I love it. I love that I'm following Democracy Now! Because I'm basically Democracy Now! Part 2. So
I
hell
like
yeah.
that. Yeah. So let's talk about that. So we're in the mix.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you so much for joining us. Awesome comedian from South Florida via New York, Brittany Brave.
Hello.
Hello.
Hello. We're in Game 3 of the Yankees right now, so that's why I'm rocking my
Oh,
Yankee
okay.
jersey. I used to make fun of men for wearing their favorite sports teams' jerseys on the big game nights.
Until Taylor made it popular.
Nah, fuck that bitch. I hate Taylor Swift.
Are you serious?
Yeah. I'm not like other white women.
What's that all about?
I think she's fake.
How so?
I think she's too calculated.
I mean, but every pop star is like calculated and whatnot.
Yeah, but Beyonce does it better. I don't know. I think her fans are cult-like. I don't really connect to her music too much. I don't think her fans have a mind of their own. I think they're just like, Taylor could be like, I love Hitler. And they would be like,
Wow.
oh, okay.
Tampoco así.
Oh, okay. Like I don't even think they have a mind of their own. And I just personally, but I also think that like she's not for me. Like I have a joke in my act about this where I'm like, I'm not a white woman lacking in protein.
Yeah.
Like I'm not basic.
Yeah.
I'm not like, oh, he broke my heart and I sailed into the sunset. Like I'm not, it's not for me.
Okay.
It's not for me. I didn't mean to start so heavy. I'm sorry if you love Taylor Swift. I'm sorry. But I feel like Taylor Swift is like God and Donald Trump. They all need to get better fans.
Wow. Okay, that's
Their
a
fans
take.
are annoying.
Okay, that's you know what? I'm gonna agree with you where like I'm not a Taylor Swift fan, so I'm there.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I mean, I know that fandom is wild and they're like die hard about their Taylor. So it's like
Yeah.
I don't wanna poke the beehive type of situation.
That's what I always say. That's what I'm working on a bit right now where I say like I love Beyonce. But if I didn't like Beyonce, which wouldn't be the case because I love her,
Yeah.
even if I didn't like Beyonce, I wouldn't say I didn't like Beyonce because I'm afraid of the beehive.
I get you. Yeah. That's
Like,
100%.
I'm like, I don't want them to come for me. Like, you know,
Yeah.
it's like Tony Hinchcliffe talking about Puerto Ricans this weekend.
Yeah, you saw
Like,
that?
That motherfucker's going to be dead by Wednesday.
I mean, bro, that's crazy, dude. That's I can't even.
Yeah.
That shit is intense to me. Like what he said. He said it's a what? A pile of junk or?
It wasn't even a joke. It was out of context. Puerto Rico's not even like in the news right now. There's no like Puerto Rico is literally an a U.S. property. Like
Yeah.
they
territory,
can vote.
Literally.
They can vote.
I mean, they can't vote for president. They could vote for like governor, or can they vote for president?
I'm pretty sure they can.
Yeah, I think they might be able
They
to vote
have
for president.
American passports.
I mean, I know they don't have a representative in the House of Representatives. They don't have no like actual power in the Congress.
Honestly,
wild.
Until they have that, then they won't really actually have a say because the truth is Congress decides everything.
I
That's
mean,
just the
Congress
truth.
puts out the money.
Totally. And
Yeah.
the day-to-day stuff is decided by Congress. But
Yeah.
this motherfucker, like I'm just saying, like, Puerto Rico's literally not in the news. There's no beef. There's no like contention with Puerto Rico. They're literally a U.S. territory.
Yeah.
And out of context, out of nowhere, he's like, I heard there's times are crazy. I heard there's a floating pile of shit in the ocean, and it's that's literally not even a joke.
Okay, so as a comedian,
Go on.
you run into these people
I've
like
been
in
asked
rooms.
this a million times in the last 24 hours,
All right.
but I like it. Let's go.
I want to know, like, what does that feel like? Being in the same place where you see somebody when somebody that you know is blatantly like outwardly racist in that way, and you're like seeing them in green rooms and like running into them and like making the small talk. Do you make the small talk? Do you avoid that? Do you like, what is it? What's that like?
I avoid.
Okay.
I avoid. I'm a rare breed where if I don't like you or I don't fuck with you
Yeah.
or you crossed me
Yeah.
or I don't respect what you're doing, whatever it is,
Yeah.
I don't fuck with you.
Okay.
I don't even, to me, it's a waste of time and it's a bad use of energy to even just like, hi.
Yeah.
Hi, like
the fakeness.
that's fake.
Yeah.
That's
I mean, Miami
literally
runs
fake.
on that though.
That's why I hate it.
You know, it's like that's the gas of Miami. That fucking fake shit and then turn around
Well,
and be
then
like,
no, dame
"Yo,
más
did you see that?"
gasolina. No, give me less gasolina then. I don't want it. That's the New Yorker in me. Like, and I respect that. Like, if I had a girl, like, and she's in the comedy scene down here, and
Yeah.
she's like, she talks shit. She's started her room. It's a whole, like, whatever.
Yeah.
I have my reasons. I'm very in the right for not fucking with her.
Okay.
And she knows I don't like her. Like, I have told her.
Yeah,
like,
I got beef with you.
I don't like you.
I'm gonna fuck you up on sight.
And here's why. Yeah. Like I was like, and here's why. Keep my name out of your mouth.
Yeah.
Stop saying this shit. Don't do that. Like she knows how I feel about her. And one time she walked up to me at an open mic and she was like, hey, Britt. And I was like, first off, Britt.
Yeah. Like, talk to the hand, taking it back to the early
Britt,
school.
a nickname? Like, get out of here. And I was like, why are you doing this? And she was like, what do you mean? And I was like, come on. We don't
Yeah.
fuck with each other.
Yeah.
What are you gaining by this, like,
Fake social thing.
This fake social thing. So,
Yeah.
if you're asking me my opinion, if somebody like that, there are people like this. There's plenty of people
Yeah.
like this in our local scene. There's
Yeah.
some of them have left, thank God, and gone to LA or other places.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm the stay out of my energy.
Okay. Okay.
I can
won't respect that.
I won't go out of my way to say hi to you. I'm not gonna fuck with you.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna get in your way.
Yeah.
But I'm definitely not gonna go out of my way to say hi to you. I'm not gonna book you.
Yeah.
If I don't have to engage in conversation with you,
Yeah.
I'm not gonna do it. All we owe each other as human beings
Yeah.
is safety, respect,
Mm-hmm.
and general consideration. That's really all we owe each other. Maybe
Okay.
kindness, consideration.
Okay.
You disagree?
No, I agree with you, but the kindness part, I mean, you said you're a New Yorker, right?
Yeah.
Like, there's not too much that in New York. There's not too much kindness. There's a lot of
Disagree.
like upfront, straight up in your faceness. A lot of that.
Disagree.
I mean, I don't know. That's my take.
Disagree.
I mean, there is the kindness. I don't see it. I don't see that part.
The realest people in my life and my best friends are all from New York.
Oh, I'm not doubting you. I'm saying realness, 100%. Like cut and throat, straight up, 100%. I agree with you. But there's not too much kindness when you're dishing out that realness.
See, I'm going to point out a really important difference for you.
Okay.
There's niceness and then there's kindness. I talk about this all the time. I
Okay,
could
so
write a TED
explain
Talk
to me
on
the difference. Give me your TED Talk.
Nice. You're welcome. You're welcome. Niceness is words. Kindness is actions and intent.
Okay.
Anybody can be nice. Hi, please, thank you, great job.
Yeah.
Yeah, have a nice day. Whatever. It's nice. Miami's nice. I'll have people come up, oh my God, you are amazing. We love you. You crushed. We're obsessed. Those people are literally taking money out of your back, starting rumors, talking shit, and fucking you over.
Okay.
New Yorkers, I will agree with you, aren't the nicest sometimes. Sometimes we're the ones that, hey, the fuck you want? Like, you know what I
Yeah.
mean? And you think that's mean,
Yeah.
but we show you kindness through action and behavior. Because I've seen people, strangers, fall on the subway tracks, and New Yorkers have dropped what they're doing to pick a human being off the subway tracks.
Okay, I mean that's also like humanity to not see a dude get run over by a subway.
Have you looked at Only in Dade for 2 seconds?
Oh, yeah,
we see
that's
the
true.
exact opposite of that.
You're right.
In this city, everywhere.
You're right.
And that page documents all of it.
You're
so
right.
I say that to say I'm with you that New Yorkers aren't nice, but New Yorkers are real. To me, kindness is a form of kindness is not bullshitting people.
Yeah. I hear you. I mean, that's 100%. I agree with that. I agree with that.
If you really want, it's like if you're, let's say you're dating.
But it's hard for people to swallow that pill when, like, you want to hear what you want. You know, like when you're in that bubble, you want to hear what's in the bubble. So you want people to be nice with you. Maybe not necessarily kind, because the kind thing to do would be like tell you straight up, hey, you fucking up. But they don't want to hear they fucking up. They want to hear the fucking... People want the sugar. I always say that. That's my fucking favorite thing. They want the sugar, so give them the sugar. They don't want the fucking lesson. Believe me, I've tried to give the lesson plenty of times, and it's like, yo, what the fuck are you doing? You know, they don't want this lesson. They want the sugar.
I think if you have people in your life who continuously feed you sugar and don't teach you a lesson and don't tell you when you're fucking up and don't get real with you, I think those people aren't really your friends.
I could agree with you there. I could agree, but then that's...
Of course everyone wants the sugar.
But we go back to the Miami part, where that's really the friendships... The vast majority of friendships rely
and that's
on
exactly
that.
why these motherfuckers don't grow and don't do great shit.
Yeah.
And their shows fall off and their bars and venues close. And they lose money and they tank and they don't do anything fucking great because they have a bunch of... I don't want a bunch of yes men around me. Like, if you're going to be the kind of friend that's just going to tell me, just feed me the sugar you're saying all the time, that's not a real friend. That's not... A real friend is somebody who's committed to your growth. And in order to grow, they need to be real with you when you're falling short and when you fucked up and when things are not okay. That's what I'm saying. That's nice versus kind. Nice in the moment is, no, baby, you're killed. You're amazing. Whatever.
Yeah.
A kind friend, the kind thing to do is to tell them, like, hey, I've seen you do better. Tonight wasn't your best. I don't think you did that great. But you know what? If you want to sit down together and go over your set, we can do that. Or if you want me to put you in touch with someone who can help you get better or get you a job, or I can do, you know what I mean? And kindness doesn't, like, that kind of kindness doesn't feel good initially. It hurts, it stings. But afterwards you think back and you're like, oh shit, they were actually doing me a favor. They were doing the right thing.
I agree. I've learned how to do it though. I've learned who to do it with.
Yeah.
That my thing used to be that I wanted to be like that with everybody.
Yeah.
And I realized people are not receptive to that. Not everybody is receptive to it.
Sure.
So I lost a lot of friendships and a lot of... I mean, at the end of the day, maybe it was the good thing because I didn't need those people sucking energy out of my life.
Sure.
But at the same time, like, I wanted them to grow because I myself, I'm a go-getter. And I want people who are in my circle being the same way, right? And that's how you push forward, right? So, I mean, I understand with that. I understand. So you touched on a subject. I wanted to first and foremost... I met you through the Diddy roast where 50 showed up at Casa Tiki, the Deaf Flamingo, and you were fucking crushing it that whole night. That's when I actually even came across your comedy and how you started. So you did that for domestic violence. You were collecting funds for the domestic violence hotline.
Yeah.
And yeah, you talked about like that's how you even started growing in the comedy scene. Mm-hmm. So talk to me a little bit about that. What initially put you on a mic, talking to people about, you know, your personal shit?
Yeah. Yeah, that was a crazy night. I came up with the idea to roast P. Diddy. Because in light of all of these horrific allegations about him.
And this was before he got arrested or any of that shit.
No, he was arrested.
Was he arrested?
He was arrested at that time. Yeah. But I don't think, I mean, it's since escalated, thank God, rightfully so. But I mean, this man has literally 20 years of history of beating women, trafficking boys, touching children.
All kinds of crazy
shit. And, you know, it was finally coming to light. And I had the idea to roast him because I myself am a domestic violence survivor.
Okay.
I was in a super abusive relationship for like 3 years.
Okay.
3 to 3.5 years. Physically abusive, mentally abusive, emotionally abusive, all of it. So it's obviously an issue that's close to my heart.
Yeah.
Like trying to talk about it and bring awareness to it. And I had, as far as comedy goes, I spent the majority of my life performing.
Okay.
I did theater, improv.
I saw you went to UF.
I went to UF.
Yeah.
Yeah, I went to UF. I did a ton of improv and sketch in college. I did UCB, IO, Second City, all this stuff. I was a dancer. Like, I was always a performer.
Okay.
But stand-up specifically, yes, I started after that relationship.
Okay.
And it was a weird mix of a couple things. Like, I would talk about that relationship with my friends and family, and it was so dark and painful and weird and hard for them to hear, but they were also crying, laughing. Like, I had told it in such a way that was so funny and painful and real that they started to be like, you need to take this body of material and you need to go do this on stage.
Yeah.
You need to go, like, and I was like, nah, like, I don't do stand-up. I do improv. I do sketch. I do all these other things. But also I think, like, it was inevitable that I was going to end up starting stand-up. Like, everybody in my life told me I was too funny for improv. Even that ex-boyfriend was like, you should do stand-up. You're the funniest person I know. I know I'm going to see you on TV one day. Like, even he, as much of a monster as he was always like, you're missing your shit. You're missing your calling. Like, you need to get out of PR. You need to go do stand-up. You know, so I just think that experience gave me something to talk about. It helped me find myself in so many ways. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I was able to come to stand. But what's interesting is when I first started stand up, I told jokes about this relationship because that's what was fresh to me. And what was real. And I was a baby comic, a young comedian, like green as fuck, trying to talk about domestic violence and trauma. Yeah. And it's not that it wasn't working, but I look back now and I'm like, I didn't know what the fuck I was like. You know what I mean? Like, you're just starting stand up and you're trying to talk about this.
Yeah, tough shit.
Tough shit. Yeah. Like, you don't even know how to like structure it. You know what I mean? Like, you don't even know how to make it funny yet, you know? And then over the last couple of years, I obviously started talking about everything else and life and whatever. And just now I'm really hungry to like figure out how to do that material again. So the Diddy roast was a really good way to like flex these jokes and these lines and also like write about something that I have some experience with. Yeah. And I'm headlining the Adrian Arch Center next month, November 23rd.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
And I saw also you're going to be doing New York City.
Yeah, I'm doing New York Comedy Festival the week before. They named me a comic to watch, which is really cool. And they gave me a headline night. So that'll be really, really awesome.
You're getting your flowers, man. Congratulations on that Adrian Arch, though. That's huge.
Thank you. Thank you. It's like our MSG in Miami.
It is. Yeah. It's like, yo, you're going to play the biggest like spot for like stand-up generally in all of South Florida.
For anything, really. Yeah. It's a huge honor. It really is. And they came to me too, which is the best possible, like, they don't really do comedy. So it's not that I wasn't dreaming of playing the Arch Center, but it necessarily wasn't top of mind because they don't do stand-up and comedy. I've seen Broadway there. I've seen bands there.
Wicked and stuff there.
Wicked, symphonies, orchestras, like all these operas, like all these different things. And it was really cool. The team was like, we've been following you and we're a big fan and we want to do more comedy. And they were like, we can't think of anybody better to be the first person to like do it. So
wow, that's such an honor, bro.
Yeah,
yo, that's awesome.
It was awesome.
I'm fucking excited for you, bro. I can imagine you like how you're gonna pop that shit off, bro. That's nuts. Do you? So when somebody hits you with something big like that, you're like, oh, I gotta come up with like fresh material, or what is it that like how do you put that together?
Yeah, that's a good question. I don't think I thought that I had to come up with new material. I mean, I've been doing comedy professionally for about 4.5 years now. Okay. I'm always coming up with new material. Like somebody asked me the other day, like, how have you been rehearsing for the shows at the Arch Center? And I'm like, every time you go on stage, it's rehearsal. You know what I mean? Like it's practice every time you go on stage. Yeah. And I've been on tour for the last 1.5 years. So all of that is practice at the end of the day. Yeah. So it's not necessarily that I was like, I got to write new material for this, but I have had a lot of really loyal, awesome Miami people come to all my shows. Yeah. I've sold out the improvs, the Diddy roast, so I do think I said, okay, I'm going to give them newer stuff. So they're coming in, they're seeing something fresh and special and different. And because it's the Arch Center and it's so intimate and beautiful, and it's, it's not a restaurant, there's not a bar in the theater, there's no
Yeah.
distractions. It's this place that does theater, right? I think for me as a comedian, I'm the most excited to do more of this domestic violence material or some of these personal stories about growing up, election material, political stuff that is a lot more challenging to do at a bar or a random show.
Yeah, why? Because you feel like people will talk back to you or something?
People will talk back. They're too drunk. You can hear a bar in the background. You can food servers are running around.
It's funny, as an audience member, you don't even think about those things
Oh,
because you're looking
yeah.
at it from a different perspective. But
Yeah.
since you're on stage, those things are affecting your stand up and your bit, and you don't even consider how much that could really.
Totally. Like if you know you're about to go, you really want to do a bit, but it's very dark and very personal.
Yeah.
And it requires building a lot of tension maybe, and it's a little risky, maybe it's political. You don't really feel super comfortable doing it when you're in a bar show where half the people are listening, half the people aren't. You can hear a margarita shaker in the back. Someone's running nachos to a table. Some girl's like, yes, queen, or whatever. So you're like, I'm not going to get into that really long-winded story about my dad's Parkinson's or my abortion now. Like, you know what I mean? Like, even no matter how funny it is, you're like, this isn't the vibe, So I'm... The fact that people go to the Arts Center to watch plays.
Yeah.
To like...
Be really engaged.
Really engaged. Yeah. And I can't imagine people get heckled at the Arts Center,
That would be crazy.
You fucking better not,
If you said the standard, you get heckled.
I will burn the city down if that shit happens. I will kick your ass out and beat your ass up in the lobby. Okay? But like... You know what I mean? Like they go to the art center in a different mindset. It's a performing arts center. Yeah. So it might even, honestly, on November 23rd, it might even be a little bit like a one-woman show than anything else. Because, that's awesome. I'm not going to give everybody the shit they've already seen. It's a special venue. I'm going to give them special shit. That's
dope. That's dope. So like the biggest challenge, right? You've been doing this for like 4 years, you said, particularly on stage with a mic. What's been the biggest challenge? What was the hardest thing for you to overcome to like get to a point where you're crushing it now? Like you know what you're doing.
I think it's that's interesting. It's twofold, and I think it's very similar and they go hand in hand. And I think the first one is not giving a shit what anybody thinks, which is like, I know, like, the most cliche advice that we all get, like, you shouldn't care what other people think of you. Be yourself. Don't care what anybody thinks. But I think that's unrealistic advice. We're human beings and we live in society. And let's face it, the person who really doesn't give a fuck about what anybody thinks of them at all whatsoever is a sociopath, is a fucking crazy person, right? So like that's a serial killer. That's P. Diddy. That's like, it is. Yeah. So it's like bullshit when people are like, you really shouldn't give a shit what anybody thinks of you. You shouldn't give a fuck. I'm like, that's fucking bullshit, bro. Like that's not realistic advice. If you're out here living in society, performing, hustling, socializing, it's very normal. And you should have a healthy level of give a fuck about how you're perceived to people, I think. Facts. Right? But I do think what it means is the other part of the thing that I had to overcome is really being myself no matter what and sticking to who I am, what I believe in, the material that I like the most, what's truthful to me, what's funny to me. In my business, it's really easy to cater to people or cater to the industry or pander or be something you think other people want. I mean, I'm guilty of doing it in Miami. Yeah. Getting on stage and being like, yo soy gringa puta. Dame más gasolina. The Palmetto's so crazy. Kendall, like, And
cliche
it's like,
as fuck.
Like cliche as fuck, and it's like that served its time when I first came down here, but after a while I was like, that's not me, that's not what I find funny, that's not my comedy. So I think it's twofold, like sticking to who I really am, and I think it's paid off, and I've been able to find an audience through that, not easily, but I did. Okay. And then I think the other, and that does require a healthy dose of I don't care what you think of me, in the sense of like, hey, if you don't like me, that's all good, but I'm not going to not do these jokes. I'm not going to not say what I believe. I'm not going to
Yeah.
not stick up for something.
I feel you. I feel you. That's
It's hard in my business when everything about my business is approval.
yeah.
Approval,
Exactly.
validation, who sees you, who likes you, who wants you, are you hot, are you not, you got buzz, you know. It's hard to be like, I could do this, but I don't want to.
I hear you.
It's hard.
It is.
Yeah.
It is a lot. I mean, bruh, I understand exactly what you're saying. A lot of it does. You have to be comfortable in your own skin. That type of situation. Like, you really got to be comfortable in your own skin. But at the same time, you can't give too much people's opinion too much credence. Like, you got to give it enough to know what the feedback is, but not where it's controlling your actions to the point where you're no longer you.
Totally.
Right? So I understand that portion of it. It's a little difficult. And it really is, because Miami's so cliquish. So if you do something like that offends one person, that could really play against you big time. Okay, like, because of the way that people. So that's what, particularly me. That's what I'm thinking all the time. And I'm like, yo, this is. I'm out on that click 100% because I said the wrong thing, or I offended the wrong main person in that group, and all of a sudden, like, oh, I can't fuck with you ever again.
Miami's high school.
As fuck.
Yeah.
As fuck.
And I think it holds Miami back. I think it just makes us look really immature and toxic and underdeveloped, like high school.
I feel you. I mean, yeah, it's been a lot of that. It is a lot of that.
And we're a much smaller city than what people give us credit for. So that's why I do prefer New York in that sense. And if you don't like somebody or don't fuck with somebody in New York, you might not see them for a year.
Ever again.
Even,
I mean,
too big.
In
it's
a year,
too much
if you're in the same neighborhood. Right?
Yeah.
If you're Lower East Side, you might run into them 1 to 2 times. You go to pianos or some shit.
When I did comedy in New York, and I started comedy in New York, I don't have any drama with anyone.
Yeah.
Nobody. Like, I go back to New York, I get booked.
Yeah.
I got my homies. They talk highly of me. I talk highly of them. I got great relationships at all the clubs. No matter where I go, like, I'm good.
Yeah.
I feel love. I cannot go to New York for 6 months to a year, come back, and I immediately feel love. No, the key words are no drama. That's it. Now, do I like everybody? No, that's not realistic. I keep those opinions to myself.
Yeah.
But I had no bullshit when I did comedy in New York. I've been based in Miami now for 2.5 years. I've had so much drama in the comedy scene.
All right, talk to me about that drama. Let's get into it. What's popping?
This is what happens when you have a comedy scene where nobody has anybody to work towards.
What do you mean? Like,
Nobody
there's no
What's the Mount Rushmore in Miami comedy? Like, the improvs are amazing. I love the improvs. They're family.
Yeah.
I've headlined them. They're amazing. I do my bad bitch brunch there. I love that team.
Yeah.
They've been so good to me. But, like, this is what happens when you're in a small scene, right? Like, you're in a big city but a small comedy scene. All the comedians know each other. There's nobody doing comedy in Miami right now that don't know who I am, and that I probably don't know who they are or heard their name or something. Yeah. It's too small. There's very few people to look up to. And there's very few things to work towards. So when the stakes are that low, everybody's slacking off and focused on the wrong fucking shit. And this is why everybody's more concerned with the hang and who likes them and the vibe and whatever. And if the people who are taking it seriously also happen to be really good, and they also have the least amount of drama. So I feel like when I came down here from New York, I was like immediately like, I was embraced immediately. Like, oh, she's dope. She's so funny, blah, 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 whatever. She works really hard. She's making shit happen down here. Awesome. But almost on the exact same token, it was like, she's kind of a bitch. She doesn't say hi to me. Like, fuck off. Is this kindergarten?
I get it. Yeah.
She doesn't say hi to me. I feel like she doesn't like me. Why doesn't she fuck with me? Why doesn't she book me? She's a bitch. Blah, blah, blah. Or like when I would call shit out, like, don't fucking say this to my face. Stop showing up to my shows. Like, don't show up on stage. Hi. Don't fucking do that. Whatever. All of a sudden I was looked at as the bitch. And I was like, but I never had this set of bullshit in New York.
Yeah, you didn't have to call it out because other people were being professional in their shit.
Right.
I hear you.
And it's also just too big of a city. No, New York doesn't give a shit about anybody. In Miami, everybody's chismoso. Everybody's like so cares about everybody so
I mean, you know what?
much.
I never really thought about that. How like there's nothing to go for. So
Not in
there's-
comedy.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, maybe in the drug dealer world, there is Tony Montana.
Well,
and shit.
totally, yeah.
there's all
Or
that
even like music, like you have
Yeah.
Ultra, you have 3
Yeah.
Points, like you have things that are big. And
Yeah.
if you're an artist, you have Basel, you have,
Yeah.
there's so much art and whatever. There's food and beverage and hospitality, there's stuff to work towards. But in comedy, the ceiling is pretty low.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And there's not a clear path on how to get there.
It's funny because I see that kid Marcelo who came out of like
Yeah.
doing his thing on Only in Dates page, and I see how he leveraged them to be able to get to the places where he was able to present himself, right? But even that I kind of feel was like a lucky shot in the dark because they were looking for like a Hispanic kid, you know, or like that type of person that brings a certain audience out. So they come in, they get somebody like that, but then they're not looking at the actual general talent that there is out here, right? It's a lot of that, and it's difficult for people to wanna to be in the center, be in the limelight if there's really no trophy to get it, right? There's really no trophy to get, so.
Yeah, well, it's hard. You have to set your own goals, and not a lot of people have the willpower or the work ethic to do that down here. You have to. That's why I also don't. I mean, I understand it's a frustrating scene, but when young comedians are like, "This scene sucks. I'm just gonna say fucking and move to New York. There's nothing to do here." I'm like, don't also say that there's nothing to do here because me and a couple other people have really made shit happen down here. You can. It's just harder.
Hard work.
The path isn't as clear as it is in New York. You know, but. Yeah, but that's what happens. I mean, I think you would find that in a small comedy scene anywhere else across the country. When it's small and there's nobody really famous and there's nothing really clear to work towards. Or, okay, it's the Improv, but then even after that, everybody's like, well, what's next?
Yeah.
I guess the Arch Center.
Hey,
But like, I didn't even...
that's a flex right there. Flex that shit.
I'm allowed.
Hello, flex.
I'm allowed. I earned it. Okay? I didn't even know.
That you know that's a bullseye on your back too now. It's like,
Bitch, I had bullseyes on my back since the day I moved down here.
Okay.
People were like, she's not that funny. She's a bitch. She's this. She's that. I don't think she's that. Why doesn't she book me? I don't like her. Man. Go back to I've had this shit since I literally moved down here.
Hey, man, that's what's up. Bet you flexing on their ass now. That's what's up, though.
I don't flex on myself enough.
I mean, you should. You gotta get your little wins. Whenever you get your wins, you gotta celebrate it because you never know when the next win is. I've come to realize that shit.
Yeah, you don't.
You could bust your ass trying to get shit popping and shit will not pop. But when it does, you have to celebrate it. Like, yo, I did that. I accomplished that shit. I did that shit. And you got to pat yourself on the back because a lot of times other people won't pat you. They'll talk shit, just like you were saying.
As I've been promoting this, I've been forgetting to mention that I'm like the first comedian to do it. And I've been forgetting to mention that like they came to me and stuff because I feel uncomfortable because it does feel like braggy.
Nah, bro. Do that shit.
But it is the truth. Like it's 100% the truth. And also like my mom even reminded me of that. Like she was just like, she goes, the boys don't.
They would never do that.
The boys would never do that?
If it was a dude, that would be the top line. That would be the top. The headline would be first comic ever
to fucking get asked to do the Adrian Arch Center. Like, yeah, you're right. My mom was like, she goes, absolutely not. The boys would never hold back on this. Like, she goes, you're not bragging. You're telling the truth. And like, I almost feel like as if, I mean, I almost feel like some part of this is not like lost on me, but I've had such a busy year.
Yeah.
And it's been a challenging year for other reasons, like with my industry. Like as you start like climbing up this industry, it doesn't.
You gotta go to Diddy parties.
I miss those freak offs.
Hey.
Some great networking went on at those parties.
Sheesh.
Could have really bumped
GHB.
elbows. Could have bumped elbows with the right motherfuckers.
Yo, what?
Yeah, man. Yeah, bro. But I hate you. That's so stupid. You missed the freak off.
You missed the
Diddy would have thought I was a little boy.
Yo, what? That's hilarious. That's you gotta say that shit on stage.
I should.
That should be hilarious.
I should.
No, but I hear you.
But yeah, it gets harder, this industry. Like it's if you're 2 years into comedy and you're like, damn, I'm grinding it out. It's so hard. I'm hitting open mics every night. Dude, wait till you're 4 to 5 years in and you're like touring and your body's tired and you're doing hours on the road in cities that you don't know how you're going to be received, and you're actually auditioning or getting submitted for things you've been working towards. And sometimes it's no, sometimes it's yes, sometimes it's not yet, sometimes it's maybe. You know, sometimes you get put in front of your industry and you fucking eat a dick and bomb.
Yeah.
You know, it just happened to me recently, and I was like, and I was like, well, fuck.
How do you overcome that?
I don't know. I'll let you know when I do. I'm still in it right now.
Sheesh, that's what's up. You're working through it right now.
Working through it, but you know, I think it's a good lesson to know. Like, it's like you judge yourself. You should judge yourself like you judge any sports season.
Yeah.
I think baseball's a good example, not just because it's happening right now, but like
so long.
Yeah, you go for a long time and you don't judge by one game, you judge by the whole season.
Yeah.
You know, you could lose one game and it sucks. You don't want to lose game 1 of the series or whatever it is, or game 7 or whatever.
Yeah.
But you have to zoom out and look at the whole season and be like, but damn, I played a lot of games this year.
And I accomplished a lot.
And if I look back at all these games I played, most of them went pretty well.
You know what's crazy?
You know?
Being like in the industry, being in entertainment. I do music as well. Oh, I saw that you were Miami New Times Comic of the Year. The best of
2 years ago.
2 years ago. My band was best of Latin act.
Fuck yeah.
Yeah, 2 years ago as well.
Fuck yeah.
And so like being
What
in
band?
that. Oro Fresco. We
nice.
do Latin shit, like funky, eclectic Latin music.
I like it.
But like outside of this podcast and shit. But like in that,
he's creative.
Nah, don't be saying that. I keep it on the low. That part I don't like to flaunt. So that's what I'm saying. Like being a creative.
Yo, my God, you're such a Miami guy. You're like being creative, gay.
I don't think it's. I'm just saying, like, I don't like putting that forward. Like, hey, I'm a creative, guys. Like, I don't know. For some reason,
you
I
don't
feel
need
like
to say it. You don't need to be like, hey, I'm creative. But if you tell somebody I have a podcast and I'm in a band, one would be like, you probably are pretty creative.
I hear you. Okay, I feel that.
Right?
That title does apply
I like how I
to
keep
me.
looking at the camera like somebody's going to be like,
They're
right.
gonna be like, yeah, they're gonna wink right back at you through the camera.
I'm waiting for them to be like, she's right.
But
yes.
that thing makes you, okay, so it makes you self-reflective, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so you have to, like you just said, you just bombed in front of your audience, right? Your industry. So like that whole self-reflective part, it's a little.
I'm fine.
Ain't nothing happening here.
It was fine, and I will be okay, and I will keep going, and I'm fine. Go ahead.
No, but it is like you have to be introspective.
Yeah.
You have to be introspective.
Yeah.
And you got to know how to roll with the punches, right?
Yeah.
Okay, that's that whole. Do you take that out on stage, or do you do that behind the scenes?
Well, that night I couldn't really take it out on stage because I would have taken it out on the industry, really. So that wouldn't have probably been ideal.
Yeah.
I don't think it's ever a good thing to take out on the crowd, but we're all guilty of it.
No, not necessarily take out on the crowd. I'm just saying, like, express it on stage.
I think it's
that
okay to
energy.
express it on stage. And honestly, I probably would have felt better about my set had I, like, expressed how bad the crowd was that night. And had I expressed that the AC had broken in the venue and the show was running late and the crowd was really bad. Like, so like while I bombed, there were also a couple factors like working against me.
Yeah.
And I do think I probably would have done better had I like addressed them and been like, all right, okay, we hate this. Let's, whatever. But I think ultimately you do have to process that stuff internally. And I don't know. I mean, I was a goody two-shoes growing up. I was like an only child, class president, all that kind of shit.
Yeah.
And that's been an ongoing lesson throughout my early adulthood of like being okay with failure and being okay with not perfect, but missing the mark sometimes and disappointing people and even disappointing yourself.
Yeah.
So I spent like a good portion of the week pointing to very real things about this set that could have been better, that contributed to like my performance. And it could have been better. Like it's not ideal when the AC breaks.
Yeah.
It's not ideal to be the 13th comic out of 15 on the third industry showcase of the night.
Wow.
Yeah. In a not sold out crowd. That's got a weird vibe. and you've got a sinus infection.
Yeah.
And you're in your head and you're nervous. Like, there were a couple things, but I think I felt the most freedom over the last, like, 48 hours when I was like...
Processing it.
You failed, and it's okay. You bombed, and it's okay.
Yeah.
Play back your set, sit through it, white knuckle it. You're not going to get the quicker you accept... And it's not, instead of putting the onus on other things, the quicker you just kind of are like, I didn't do my best. Yeah. But you know what? It's okay. I'm still a good person. I'm still a good comedian. I'm still going to show up. Yeah. I'm still going to whatever. Like the next day I was talking crazy shit. Like, I hate this industry. I'm fucking tired as fuck. I don't want to do this shit anymore. I don't think I'm funny. I don't want to be funny. Fuck people. Fuck comedy. Like, I was like, I'm going back to radio. I don't want to do this. And everybody in my life was like, bitch, shut the fuck up.
Yeah.
Sit down. Shut up. Like, go get a drink. Go take a nap. Like,
like they treat you like a toddler.
Literally. I was like, like throwing shit, and they were like, you're out of your mind. Shut up. Yeah. Like, you're not gonna do anything else with your life. You're not meant to do anything else with your life, you know. But it's just it's crazy. But I think it's like, I don't know, with what I do, at least it's the long game.
Yeah.
It's not the last time you're going to be in front of those people. It's not the first time I was in front of industry. I've murdered in front of industry. Now I've bombed in front of industry. I've done also just okay in front of industry. Like, it's like, I remember the first time I opened for somebody. I was somebody real. I was so nervous. I almost threw up backstage. Wow. I was like, you know, whatever. But like, you come a long way. So it's like, I think it's in moments like that. It's truly like loving another human being, where it's like, you got to love it when it's not good.
Damn, Daniel, that's a deep ass key right there.
You gotta love, you have to love, you can't say you unconditionally love someone or something, and then when it doesn't go your way, or worse, when you're the reason it's not going your way, you can't immediately be like, yeah, just like, fuck this, I don't think I'm meant to be in love, or like, you know what, fuck comedy, like, it's too hard, I'm tired, I've been at this for too long, I don't, fuck this, you know, I think it was the AC that broke in the room, I think it's the fact that he's not over his ex, I think it's blah, blah, blah. You gotta, if you really love something,
you gotta deal with it.
You gotta sit in it.
When it's ugly.
And you gotta show up for it again the next day. Sheesh. Even if you don't feel like showing up for it again the next day, you gotta get on stage that next day and be like, all right.
That speaks volumes, bro. That legit, that's key as fuck what you just said right now. Mm-hmm. I never thought about it in that manner. That is insane. That's the truth.
Because it's like they say that that's the key to a healthy marriage, right? Or like long-term relationships is, it's not the sex or the chemistry or the whatever. You can point to all these other things. It's that you don't need to be with anybody in your life. You could be single your whole life, right?
Yeah.
Right. So whenever you choose to commit to someone, get married to someone, it is quite literally a choice. You choose this. You chose it, right?
You're right.
So the secret to it working is waking up every day and choosing to work on it again. I choose you. Despite you peeing on the floor last night, coming home late, texting that girl, smelling like Taco Bell, whatever it is, you know. And it's the same thing with comedy. I have chosen this for the rest of my life. On the nights when it's amazing, on the nights when it's not.
Wow.
On the nights when I crush, I gotta still choose it on the nights when I bomb.
Yeah, that's wild.
And if I don't want to choose it, that's also okay if I don't want to choose that anymore. But I got to make sure before I let it go, or you let that person go.
Yeah.
Before you let that person or that passion go, make sure you've done everything in your power. Facts. Make sure there's a legitimate reason, not just you putting up a fucking tantrum because something didn't go your way.
Yeah.
Think about that.
That's true. That's true. So who's on your Mount Rushmore? Who is that person that, or people that make you want to strive for this shit every day? And like, yo, that's somebody who, and what did they teach you?
Oh, yeah. Only 4 people is so hard.
I mean, you could come up with as many as you want, but like, who are those people that are like, yo, this is why I'm doing this, and like, this X person is the one that drives me to even when the shit is trash, like this type of situation. Yeah.
I mean, Joan Rivers is my comedy idol.
Okay.
I think she was a huge pioneer for women. She was so funny and
abrasive and upfront.
Yeah. But really not.
I mean, she did it with jokes. Kill him with kindness.
Totally, yes. But I'm also going to push, not personally to you, but I'm going
Yeah.
to push back on that statement because female comedians always get called abrasive and like I'm not saying this personally to you.
Yeah,
but
no, you
whenever
throw him
they,
jabs. What's
I
up?
know, right? Like how Joan would. But female comedians are always, even when they're being praised, they're being praised for unapologetic, raw, tells the truth, says what's on her mind, potty mouthed, foul, raunchy, filthy, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
You know, abrasive, acerbic, edgy, whatever. I don't know if the boys get that.
Okay.
I just think the boys,
They get a pass for being that way.
they just do whatever they want.
You just could be an asshole and it's okay.
And nobody's going to be like, you're so edgy. They're just, you're just, you know,
you're just a dick.
girls just speak their minds in comedy and it's like, she's so daring. And it's, you know, but
Okay. I can see
Joan-
how I mansplained that.
Yeah, you know what I mean? But I think you are right about Joan, that Joan was, whereas other people would have taken shit on the chin,
Yeah.
Joan did not. Like, there's an interview of her that's amazing. It was on CNN. This is after she was, like, established as, like, the GOAT.
Yeah.
And she was doing red carpet shit and writing books and whatever. Like, she'd already done Tonight Show and hosted her own whatever. It was, like, right before she died. Maybe a couple years before she died. And she was on CNN with, like, Federica. I forget her last name. And Federica was, like, very passive-aggressive in putting her down. And she was like, oh, well, a lot of people say, like, you hurt people's feelings. And she was like, no, I don't. Like, I've done comedy for 50 years. Like, I know what I'm doing. And she was like, well, a lot of people think you're a lot. Well, you say you support animals, but you're wearing fur. And, like, this journalist was just like,
Going
you
ham
could
on
feel it. Going ham, but in a passive-aggressive pussy way.
Okay.
And where I will agree with you that Joan was abrasive in the best way is that Joan took her earpiece out 2.5 minutes on CNN Live and was like, I'm out. And like threw her earpiece out and walked out of the interview. And she was like, I don't like how you're talking to me. I've been doing comedy for 50 years. I'm established. I know who I am. I'm not going to be spoken to this way. You shouldn't interview comedians. You don't know what you're talking about. I don't have to sit through this and answer these questions. And threw her earpiece down and walked out.
Wow.
So like, I don't know if abrasive is the word, but I'm with you on that. Like, not a lot of comedians would have the balls to do that.
Yeah.
But she did.
That's wild.
So, I like her. I like Chris Rock a lot. I love him.
What about Chris's comedy drew you to him?
Honesty and the range of emotions. I like new Chris Rock material even more than I like older Chris Rock material.
Okay.
Because I think older Chris Rock material, much like other comedians, he was just going for laughs. As he should. That's what comedians should do, obviously. Yeah. But I feel like his special tambourine showed a lot of like emotional range to it. And he got really personal and it was still so funny. But he had even said in an interview that as a comedian, laughs are just the baseline. At some point, it's more than laughs. Like it's, you want them. Oh, shit. Oh, boo. No way. Like, he goes, at some point, that's really what you want is if you want to elicit emotion.
Wow. I never even thought about comedy in that manner.
The greats, though, like Dave Chappelle, look at how many people push back, hate on him, and because that he tells the truth and he's brilliant, and he says him too, you know, like, but Chris Rock is the same way, and like Sam Kinison had said too, like, laughs are easy. Once you get laughs are easy. He goes, now I want to talk about, he was like, the different kinds of laughs you get. Are you getting the deep laughs? Are you getting the belly laughs? Or, ooh, are you getting the uncomfortable laughs? He goes, that's when you know you're
good.
When you're hitting you're getting the uncomfortable laughs from the crowd. Oh, you're saying something. Like, but that takes years to develop. And I don't know. I just think I do comedy. I do comedy for everybody, but I do think I do comedy for women or people.
Yeah, I've heard you say that a lot.
Yeah. Or just people who have been like doubted or feel, this goes for men too, like people who just feel like they haven't been seen or treated correctly in their life or maybe have been through something. Yeah. I like to think that whatever I do on stage makes them feel
seen,
good, empowered. Yes, they can. Si se puede. Like, you know, whatever. You know,
you want them to walk away with an empowerment feeling instead of like like getting pulled down for an hour.
Yeah, I don't. It's funny. I've had people like describe me as self-deprecating, and I'm like, I'm not.
Yeah.
I don't think my comedy is. I mean, I'm honest about myself. I wouldn't call it self-deprecating per se. I think I'm very honest about things that other normal non-comedian people would be embarrassed about.
Okay.
But that's my job as a comedian, is to be like, doesn't it suck when we get yeast infections, girls, or whatever, or like whatever, or like, isn't it embarrassing when you're in public and you forget whatever, like like
some girl thing.
Yeah, whatever, or anything, human being, whatever. We've all been embarrassed by our family. I have a lot of material about that.
Yeah.
But I wouldn't call myself self-deprecating.
Yeah.
So to the media, anybody who's watching, stop describing me as self-deprecating.
You've been told, motherfucker.
Yeah, when I'm like able to hire my own publicist, I'm gonna be like, they're not allowed to use that term.
That's what's up.
Anymore.
That's what's up. I like that. So
Yeah.
like now that you're heading right in this bright, beautiful direction, all right? What do you see as what is it that you're going for? I mean, come on. Adrian Art Center first comic, that's already like massive, right? So now you got to do something wild to top that shit. So what's your next, like, yo, I want to fucking, I want to do this shit.
I don't know, shut up.
I'm telling you, like.
I want a statue outside the arena right next to Dwayne Wade.
Oh, that ugly ass statue?
But I want to approve it before it goes live.
Yeah.
That shit is disgusting.
That shit is horrible.
And he's such a nice guy.
Yeah, man. Why
He
they
was
do
like,
him
I
like
love
that?
it.
Why they do him like that?
I don't think they did it intentionally.
Nah, no, come on, but that guy looked like Debo. He didn't look. It didn't look like D
It
Wade.
does not look like him.
That's what's the funny part, because like when I saw it, I see like movies where they have like future scenes and like artists or whatever statues like that, and they look nothing like the artist. I'm like, this is so like real right now.
Yeah.
Like when, God forbid, when D Wade, rest in peace, passes away, right? Somebody in the future in 2100 is gonna see that statue and think that that's what D Wade looked like.
And that's upsetting.
That is crazy upsetting.
That's upsetting. Statues are forever.
Forever.
I would
Especially
not be,
a bronze statue.
I would not. Oh my God. I would not be surprised if in the middle of the night they're like, man comes by and destroys statue outside of the stadium, and then they identify that it's Dwayne Wade.
That would be
and
hilarious.
he's just fucking taking it down. He must be like, this shit
is the
he
worst.
went home to his wife and he was probably like, baby, I don't look like that, right?
I don't look like Debo. Huh?
Yeah, like I'm like, we
gonna
gotta
snatch
get
your chain.
no more statues. I think. What are we doing with statues? We got to do murals.
I mean,
NFTs.
murals aren't forever. Maybe NFTs.
NFTs. Yeah, NFTs.
Hopefully, we have electricity in the future and shit doesn't end.
Electricity's been around for like quite some time. I think
I
we're
don't
good
know.
on electricity.
I'm just
I love
thinking
that you're like,
doomsday.
I love that you're like, I hope we have electricity in the future. I'm like, we're gonna be all right.
No, let's hope. Let's hope. I hope
I don't know. I think between all the fucking lights you have lit in this studio, you're gonna single-handedly ruin electricity in Miami.
I'm the one who has FPL bankrolling right now. It's me. It's solo.
Yeah,
solo
they love
D.
this studio. They do.
Well, Brittany,
Thank you for having me.
Thank you for giving me your time. Honestly, we've been trying to get this together, and we've
Don't
been
hate
crossing.
me. I've been on the road. I've been
I
in
would
so
never
many
hate
cities.
you.
I'm sorry.
You're doing this as a favor to me. How am I gonna even hate on
you're
you?
doing
Come
it
on.
for me too.
This is awesome. Giving me some time, letting me know about your world, like picking your brain and things like that. If people wanted to reach out to you, wanted to see your comedy, want to follow your trajectory, your rise, what it is, what's popping, where can they follow you?
At tight pussy 69305.
Hey, that's your OnlyFans?
No. I do have an OnlyFans, so you should subscribe.
Hey, what, you selling feet?
No,
feet
my
pics.
feet aren't cute.
Oh, okay.
Labia.
Hey.
Brittany Brave on Instagram, Brittany Brave on TikTok. I have a podcast as well every Wednesday, though I'm busy, so it's been a little spotty lately.
What's the name of the podcast?
It's called
Mention.
Big Yikes.
Big Yikes.
Big Yikes.
Yeah.
And it's about admitting really vulnerable, embarrassing moments. So I have like really dope guests.
Yeah.
Like Billy Corbin's been on.
Oh, I have Billy on the podcast too.
You did?
Yeah.
I love him.
He's so cool, right?
He's the nicest,
Down to
smartest. And we're so lucky to have someone like him in Miami fighting for what's right.
Yeah.
And he's just so cool and
I
great.
love, bro, Billy's one of my dogs 100%. Like the way that he's out there, especially with his films, because he doesn't only like show it like on the gram, he'll like go and work in that space, dedicate his time to like really researching and pushing the true narrative, right?
Yeah.
Of certain projects and certain things that people don't really pay attention to. And I feel like he really is a
He's a
master.
truth teller.
He is. He is a truth teller,
teller.
raconteur, and he's a great resource for the city.
He is.
Yeah.
I really mean it when I say that we're incredibly lucky to have him, and
Facts.
it's very cool to be able to call him a friend as
Yeah.
well too. It's very cool. But he's been on. We have some really great guests, and it's all about just. I mean, it's just honestly, I'm a comedian, obviously. So I mean, the podcast is not funny.
Yeah.
It's funny, obviously, but I definitely try to showcase my other side and of just being a human being. And there's less pressure to be funny, so just expect like deep conversations and admissions of mistakes and vulnerable moments and
That's awesome.
stuff like that. And yeah, please come see me, Adrian Art Center. It's probably one of my last big shows before I've been half and half living in New York incognito.
Okay.
Moved back to New York.
Where?
I'm
Brooklyn?
staying in Harlem for right now, but it's a
Okay.
temporary situation. And I'm currently actively on the hunt for a longer term, more permanent place, but New York be New York. But I am moving back as soon as I can lock.
So we losing you?
Yeah.
Damn, Daniel.
Yeah. So it's on, I'm going to be there regardless next year, starting January 1st. So, but only with the intent New York still has the best comedy scene in the world. There's no competition.
Yeah, 100%.
And only with the intent to keep making Miami proud. But,
I feel you.
But our center will be like the farewell show, and what a way to go out at the
For sure.
motherfucking Our Center, November 23rd.
November 23rd, we're gonna be in that mug, rooting you on, screaming. Like, that's gonna be fire.
He's gonna be the one that's fucking heckling me. How much you want?
I'm gonna be the first heckler in the Adrian
I'm gonna
Art
be like,
Center.
I already know who it is, and kick him out. I'm gonna see him with one of his fluorescent lights in the back,
Talking shit.
talking shit. I'm gonna be like, get him out of here.
She's not that funny.
I'm gonna have a taser on stage. You watch.
That'd be crazy. dude.
Bzz.
Yo, Brittany, thank you so much for
Thank
your time.
you.
I appreciate it.
Thank you.
And thank you everybody for listening to the podcast. Everybody send me messages of encouragement and of love. I really appreciate you guys. It's major that you guys keep pushing for me. And like I always say, if you like this, share with your friends. And if you hate it, share with your enemies. But just share this motherfucker, all right?
No press is bad press.
Hasta la próxima. We out this motherfucker. Peace. Thank you, Brittany, for coming on the show, giving me a little bit of your time. Thank you for breaking it down, letting us know what's popping off in your world. You already know, first comic ever to headline the Adrian Art Center. One time, big ass accomplishment right there. Doing big things over here, bro. Thank you so much for your time. You know where to follow Brittany Brave. Thank you so much for you guys listening and tuning in. Like I tell you, if you don't like it, share with your friends. If you love it, share with your friends. If you don't like it, share with your enemies, all right? And yeah, follow your boy on Que Bola Podcast. DFig305 on IG and Fresher Fresh on IG as well. Que Bola Podcast IG, DFig305 on IG and Fresher Fresh on IG. Hasta la próxima. Que te crezca. I love y'all. Peace.